Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right. So here lately, I've been seeing a lot of people getting started in the trucking industry. There are people who are, buying one truck, two trucks, whatever, to put drivers in them and to start a business. So I had a consult with one of these types of individuals, and we got to the part about really talking about what's called employee classification. That's at the root of this. And this is something that you really want to understand because, getting into business, because this is something that can get you into a lot of trouble. Both at the state level as well as the federal level. So trying to determine whether or not someone is actually an independent contractor versus an employee is there's a series of tests. This is not one of those things where I come and hire you and I just say, okay, you're just going to be an independent contractor. It does not work that way. There's a series of tests that the IRS goes through, and I'm going to talk about that to determine whether or not you actually are an employee versus an independent contractor. So the first is behavioral control. The second test is financial control. And the third is the type of relationship. Now, I will tell you, behavioral control and financial control are probably the top two out of the major two out of the three. So first, let's talk about behavioral control. If you as the employer get to control how the driver behaves, meaning that you are instructing the driver where to go, what to pick up and when, who's training the driver, are you providing the training? Or are they supposed to go and learn on their own and then come with their skills intact? Are you providing the equipment? When you are talking about behavioral control, what are the things that you are providing that you are going to require that driver to use? That's the behavioral control. Now, financial control is a little bit more extensive. I got a list because there's a lot of them. So first of all is the unreimbursed business expenses. Now, even though one might be an employee, they still might have unreimbursed employee expenses. So that doesn't necessarily mean that, okay, well, if there's unreimbursed expenses, then you're an independent contractor. That's not it. It's really a big picture thing. So number two is the extent of the worker's investment. So if you own the truck and then someone is leasing that truck from you, that might put them more into an independent contractor realm versus if they are they're just driving the truck. So if they're leasing the truck from you, that may lean more towards an independent contractor. The extent to which the worker makes his or her services available to the public. So what that means is if you have a driver and you're saying, well, you can only work for me, then that may be more towards an employee versus, having an independent contractor and they decide if they're going to work for this company, if they're finding their own freight. So are they free to go haul other types of freight? That's the question. Let's see. Method of payment for services. Now, if you are telling the driver how much they're going to make, when they're going to get paid, if you are making all of those determinations, that is exercising financial control. Where with an independent contractor as a driver, it might be something that's negotiated. It might be a flat fee or something like that. So employees, they have a regular salary per hour and are paid on a regular basis where, independent contractors are paid for a specific job. So that it really does matter. And is the driver, is their intention to make a profit? If the intention is to make a profit, then we're leaning more towards an independent contractor. But here's the, where you get caught up, okay, which is more or less the relationship between the two parties, whether it is the owner and the driver, And so here's the deal. There's no way to put it, right? There's no like, oh, let's do. Here's the deal. First of all, what is the agreement? Are you looking for this to be an independent contractor relationship, or are you looking for this to be an employee type relationship? Are you, as the employer, providing benefits to this driver? Is there some type of contract? Is there a permanency to the relationship? Meaning, can, anybody terminate either side of the agreement at any point? And then the biggest part of this is the driver performing the key aspects of your business? And this really goes for anybody. We got and the last company got into a big to do about this is Uber and Lyft out in California. I got to go back and find out how that whole thing worked out. But basically, if you hire someone and they are performing the most important functions of your business, they are key to the success of your business, then you're probably going to have an employee, which then, even though that might not be your intention, but it is what it is, right? So that's what you have to look at when you're owning this trucking company. Is this person integral to the success of your business, or do you have that behavioral control? Are you telling them when to work, where to go, providing the truck, providing the tools? Who is providing the maintenance for the truck? Who is responsible for purchasing the fuel? Are they paid for a flat fee? Is there a contract? So when you are, looking to get into, if you're starting a trucking company and you're talking about hiring drivers, you have to really know, number one, what your state laws are, what your intention is, and know about these employment laws. Because at the end of the day, if you misclassify an employee as an independent contractor, then you're going to have to go back and file those late employment taxes and deal with the penalties and interest. It can really become a financial burden to get this if you get this wrong. So if you are, if you're starting a trucking company, if you're getting into that transportation industry, yes, it can be a lucrative industry, although I've seen lately that there are a lot of folks getting in trouble because, you know what, not every trucking company turns out to be a successful company. That's just the way it is. But if you're getting into this, you want to make sure that you have, your payroll advice, you have your attorney, your HR consultant, all these people on your team to help make sure that you are following your state laws as well as the federal laws when it comes down to employment and dealing with an independent contractor. Because on the flip side, the fines and penalties are ugly. That's just it. And especially if it gets down to tax time and that driver goes to file taxes and they're thinking you're withholding taxes and you don't believe that you're supposed to, and that person goes and complains to the IRS. Well, guess what? The IRS is going to come back to you and they're going to go through this list of things to ask, all these questions, looking at that behavioral control, financial control, and then make that determination as to whether or not that person should have been an employee versus an independent contractor. So that's something that you definitely want to get the education to get this straightened out up front so that you can have the proper team in place to grow and operate your company fiscally responsibly, as well as, with human resources. Because like I said, the flip side is ugly. So yeah, that's the long and short of it, guys. Making the decision about an independent contractor or employee is not your opinion. There are tests that you that basically determine whether you have an employee or an independent contractor. So I hope that helps you out, and I hope somebody watches this before they get into it. But, at the end of the day, you are welcome to schedule a consult with me to get some direction in this arena and to connect you with the right people. All right. So thank you so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.